Hello, my name is Danny, and today we're going to talk about a handful of side hustles that I think you should try in 2022. Okay, if this is your first time visiting my channel, hi again, my name is Danny. I post every single week talking about tips and tricks that you can use to optimize your life through your habits, your productivity, and your finances. Oh, and also, I have a sick deal for you. I have about 10 minutes of content made just for you. But in order to watch it, all you gotta do is hit the like. Hit the like button, that's it. The video won't actually play until you do. Kinda awkward. Okay, definitely joking, but if you did leave a like, thank you so much. That helps out the channel a bunch. All right, it seems like these days, everybody is talking about side hustles, and I personally am a firm believer in side hustles and that you can use them to diversify your income and not just have one stream. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about 2 side hustles that I've used and then a couple others that I think are really interesting and worth checking out. Okay, I'm gonna break the video up into 2 sections. The first section is gonna be 2 side hustles that you need to physically be there to do. And the second section is gonna be 2 side hustles that you can do remotely and from wherever. And I know a lot of people are looking for the remote side hustles right now, but with that said, there are some pretty well-paying in-person side hustles that we'll talk about today that I think are worth checking out. And then also for each of the side hustles, I'll break down for you what my pros and cons are for that specific side hustle. Okay, the first side hustle is being a personal assistant. Now, okay, this may sound super lame to you and maybe even humbling, I don't know, but this is actually a side hustle that I did for 5 months and it helped me out a lot. One of the most attractive things about a personal assistant job is you don't need any like prestigious qualifications or like a degree really to do the job. You can just show up and get stuff done. And depending on the job, it can pay pretty well. For me, for 5 months, I was working for $20 an hour, about 15 hours a week, super easy personal assistant work. So for me, it ended up being an extra $1,200 every month. Now this may sound weird, but one of the things I really liked about my personal assistant job is it didn't require a lot of thinking. It was just like easy tasks to do, like taking their car to the car wash and stuff like that. Because I was coming from a work situation where everything I did was high level decisions, always thinking. So to go from that and clock off and then go to my side hustle where I can just walk around the house, make sure everything's tidy and take their cars to get washed, for me, it was actually sort of a way of recharging. So let's break it down. What are the pros and cons to a personal assistant job? So the first pro is consistent pay. And I think this is super important for a side hustle. If you did like Uber Eats or DoorDash, the pay is not consistent. It's gonna vary on how many orders you are able to get in. But with a personal assistant job, you're working for a set dollar amount every hour. And I like knowing that it's consistent, that if I give 5 hours, I'm gonna make X amount of money. The second pro is that you don't need any crazy qualifications. And the third pro is that depending on the sector, it can be pretty easy work. Okay, so now what are the cons? Okay, con number 1 is that you would have to drive there, unless it's like a virtual personal assistant job, which those exist, and I think those are great. But for this example, let's say it's not virtual, so you do have to drive there. So the first con would be that you kind of want to find somewhere that's close to you, and if there's nothing close to you, then you're kind of wasting money on gas for the side hustle. Number 2, since you are a personal assistant, your job may expand a whole bunch, and you may have to do a lot of things that you didn't do when you first started. For instance, maybe they hired you just to file paperwork or something like that. But then down the road, you're a personal assistant, so your job description could change, and instead of just filing work, you end up getting a bunch of things stacked on top of that. So that could be a con. And the third con is that the hours may not be too flexible. It really just depends on who you're working for or what company you're a personal assistant for, but the hours most likely won't be as flexible as some other side hustles we're gonna talk about. Okay, the second side hustle is Amazon Flex. And if you haven't heard of Amazon Flex, I think it's a super intriguing side hustle. Basically, with Amazon Flex, you deliver packages for Amazon. While not working for Amazon, you're sort of a contractor. Now, I like this side hustle a bunch more than any food delivery side hustle because I worked in a restaurant for 7.5 years and I know how difficult it can be to get like DoorDash orders out on time. With DoorDash or Uber Eats, how well you perform is contingent on how well the restaurant you're picking up from performs. Because with food delivery, if the restaurant is late on the order, you yourself might not get tipped as well. But with Amazon Flex, you're just picking up and dropping off packages. So I feel like there are less factors that can directly impact your income. So what are the pros and cons? Pro number one with Amazon Flex, you know exactly the amount of money you're gonna make when you confirm a route. So basically the way the app works is it'll show you different routes and it shows you the dollar amount next to the routes, and you can choose based off of that. So there's no iffy factor about how much money you're gonna make. When you choose a route, you know exactly how much money you're gonna make. The second pro is that you can do it whenever you want. So it's super flexible with your schedule. There are no set hours or anything. Just go on the app and choose a route that works for what you wanna do. Pro number three is that outside of having a car or a vehicle that you can use, you don't need any crazy qualifications to do this either. Just a decent driving record. Pro number four, and this one's a big deal to me, but while you're working, you can listen to music, you can make phone calls, you can listen to podcasts. You can't do that with a lot of other side hustles. If you're a personal assistant, I doubt you can be jamming to Party in the USA. Now, yes, awesome pros for Amazon Flex, but what are the cons? Con number one is that because you're using a car provided by you, you will be depreciating that car a lot faster than you would have been, so expenses may come up that you didn't expect, like new tires, getting the oil changed, and things like that. Okay, so the second con is I was reading some Amazon Flex reviews and some of the drivers said that you have to choose your routes very carefully or else you could literally end your shift and be like an hour and a half away from your house. And that kind of stinks because then on the whole hour and a half drive back, you're not making any money and that can kind of cancel out some of the money you've already made. Con number three is that some addresses may be really difficult to find. I was going through more Amazon Flex reviews and some of the drivers were saying that the app had them just going in circles trying to find an address that didn't exist. Now, I know that seemed like a bunch of cons, but I actually do believe that Amazon Flex has a lot of potential to be a great side hustle. Okay, now let's talk about the remote side hustles. So because of recent technological advances that have happened in the last decade or so, a lot of jobs that used to require people being there in person now can be done online. And this is a luxury that past generations did not have. So if you're a homebody like me and you just love staying at home, then a remote side hustle, like the ones I'm about to name, may be perfect for you. Okay, the first remote side hustle is transcribing, and this is actually one I've looked into myself. So if you're good at typing or enjoy typing, this may be a really cool option for you. So basically, a transcriptionist is someone who takes the audio from live events or recordings and types out all the dialogue in it. And because of the nature of this work, these sort of jobs are pretty much always available. And let me prove that to you. If I type in transcribing jobs, look how many results pop up. It's a lot. There's a lot of them available. So like I said earlier, I have not personally tried a transcribing job yet, but I am super intrigued by them. So with the research I've done, here is my list of pros and cons to a transcriptionist job. Pro number one, according to the research I've done, you typically have a very flexible schedule and it can pretty much work around when you want to work. Pro number two is that these jobs are typically remote, so you can pretty much work from anywhere that you have Wi-Fi and headphones. Pro number three is that it looks like the pay scale has a lot of upside. According to Transcription Certification Institute, a transcriptionist salary is generally around $15 an hour, while an advanced transcriptionist earns about $25 to $30 an hour. Okay, and the last pro is that you don't need a degree to be a transcriptionist. Okay, now let's talk about the cons. Okay, so con number one, even though I said you don't need a degree, some of the higher paying transcriptionist jobs will require that you have a transcriptionist certification. However, that's pretty much only in the medical field and in the field of law. Con number two is that you do need to be a good typer with very active listening skills if you want to be successful in a job like this. Okay, the second side hustle that's remote that I really like is to market the skills that you already have, like video editing, photo editing, music production. This last one, pretty much everybody can do or can get to the point that they can do relatively easily. This is something that I did in college, and over the course of about 1 week, I made $4,500 editing videos for people. So basically the whole point of this last side hustle is to take the things that you're already naturally good at. Maybe it is video editing, maybe it's photo editing, music production. Maybe you're good at a certain instrument and you can teach lessons online. You can take those skills, market them online through a few websites that I'll share with you in a second, and people will pay you to help them. So yeah, like I said a second ago, in college, I wanted some side money and people knew that I was good at video editing, so people came to me with all these projects. In about 1 week, I made that $4,500. That's $4,500 that I got for a skill that I already had. And that's the whole concept here. Get paid for what you can already do. Okay, so here is how you do this. Number one, figure out whatever high demand and niche skill you have that people would get value out of. And if you feel like you don't have one, teach yourself one. We have YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube right now. You can learn anything on YouTube for free, so use your resources. You genuinely don't have to be a pro to get people to pay you to help them. When I was 15 years old, I was teaching guitar lessons for $50 an hour. That was great money for a 15-year-old. That would be great money for me now, actually. Step number 2 is find a website to market your skills on. A couple of the really popular ones are Fiverr and Wisent. So actually last month I was designing a book for my job and I had no idea how to design a book because I haven't done it before, but I needed somebody who had done it before. The software I was using was Adobe InDesign. I typed in on Google Adobe InDesign tutor and I found a guy on Wisent who I paid him $50 an hour and he helped me design a book. And also, the questions I had for this guy were basic. I just needed to get the project done. So you could literally learn a software like Adobe InDesign and help people like me out for $50 an hour. Okay, and step 3 with this process is, in the beginning, it's hard to get people to sign up if you don't have any positive reviews yet. So use your friends and family. Just ask them to sign up for whatever your service is, and then ask them to leave a nice review at the end. And you can just pay them back the money under the table. Anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below which side hustles you like the best and if you're gonna try any of them. If you found any value in this video, please don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends if you think maybe they could get value out of it too. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.